guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a little bit exciting. It looks just like a normal lesson, but today Hazel learned something very important, and we'll see if you guys notice. So first things first, it's always the warm-up. So we're gonna spend about 15 to 20 minutes to make sure that the horse is up to speed and that all the muscle, the joints, and everything is working properly. And it is also like properly working for the lesson. So just slowly warming up, getting the heartbeat at the right rate, and we will be ready to tackle on in a little bit. Really important. So the first thing you want to do when you're warming up is obviously ask your horse to move forward. So you will start slowly at the walk. Eventually you will pick up a trot, and whenever you're ready you can canter a little bit. The first thing that you want to do is make sure that you give them a lot of headspace. Get them to just stretch their neck out as much as possible, and get them in the right proper bend. And just start slowly working into getting them a little bit collected as you go. So grabbing a little bit more rein as you go, getting a hold a little bit more of the mouth. But at the very beginning, you just want to kind of let them move forward and travel, just to kind of get everything lubrified. So like the articulations, and then the muscle to be properly just warmed up a little bit. And you want to slowly elevate the heartbeat rate. So you're gonna just push them into the next speed, slowly. As soon as you feel like they're comfortable, they're relaxed, you can push on to the next speed. Really important, I can't say it enough. You have to do every exercise on the other side as well. It's really important for muscle symmetry, muscle building, as well as the brain of the horse to be able to do whatever you ask on both sides. So that's really up to your advantage, and also helps the horse greatly into like calculating and doing all those calculations, just because they have two sides of their brain just like us, but they're not as interconnected. So they kind of work a little bit more individually, and that way you have to train the horse on both sides to get both sides of the brain to work evenly. So the lesson is slowly starting. My coach really likes to make sure that we have proper bend and that the horse is fully with us when we're having a lesson. She just wants to know to which degree is the horse following the directions, just so we know what we're working with. So we're just changing here direction here to make sure that Hazel is following along, and she's not having any issues. So I hope that at this point you guys have spotted what the difference is with Hazel is overall. So if you pay attention or close attention to her rear end, more specifically her rear legs altogether, you will notice that she's now propulsing herself forward using her back end, which is something that we've been working really adamantly at for the past month and a half with doing the canter work, and that's something that now she has fully integrated, as she is using her back end to propel herself forward at the walk, at the trot, and at the canter. And I couldn't be happier, honestly, because that's going to allow us to move on to the next level. So we'll be able to get more figures with that. We'll be able to get more collection with that. So it's a really good first step. So wait until you get a little bit more canter action and just really pay attention to those back legs and see how much they are engaging into the motion. So slowly we will start getting into a trot and build the momentum to get into a canter. So the first few cues that I'm looking for Hazel is first relaxation. You want the horse to stay relaxed. You want them off your aids as well, so off your legs, off your hands. And as soon as you feel them supple and engaged, you can ask basically for a canter. So those are really the main ingredients or the main elements you need in order to have a successful canter. For sure, nonetheless, the bend is really important, so you really have to make sure that you have the proper bend. That's just going to help indicate your horse on which leg they have to basically start cantering on, and then it will ensure that you have the proper lead. But right now I'm just adjusting. I really like to have Hazel as light as possible in hand when I'm doing some canter. So as soon as I feel this signal in my hand where I feel the release, she's no longer like pulling or putting any pressure, it's time for me to push her forward, and that's how I get those canter to be pretty good and pretty perfect every time. So as you can see here, slowly you'll start seeing a lot more back end engagement from her end. And see, it allows us to do some smaller circles and have a little bit of a better sense of direction as well overall. So quite happy here. The recovery for the downward transition was a little long, but we can only work with one thing at a time, and so far we got that rear end engagement. So we're just gonna have a lot of fun today and just play with that. So I remember that lesson very vividly because the horse just felt overall amazing and really different at the same time. So as you can see here, I had to back her up. The thing is, she's using her back end, but she doesn't know yet how to use it properly. And so she propels herself forward and sometimes a little bit too much into my hands. That's why I have to back her up. So I'm just backing up a few steps, getting her collected a little bit with me, and then we can canter away. And as you can see, we get some good canter action with those back legs being all engaged. And she is also in self-carriage, so I don't really have any weight in my hands at all, actually. She's just holding her head right in there and just pushing through this canter. And I also noticed that her endurance is getting a little bit better. That's for sure from working the canter trot transition a lot in the past month. Slowly she builds the right muscle, and slowly she also builds stamina, so she can stay into a canter for a little bit longer, which is really fun. Because I did miss having, a horse that I could actually canter and have fun with. I've been owning her for 5 years now, and I've only cantered her like a handful of times before we actually really started working hard at the canter, just because it was so deconstructed, it was really bumpy, and it was really hard to sit to, so I wasn't enjoying my canter that much. So I was just doing walk trot. And that's also one of the reasons why it took us so long to also build this canter and put it all together. it's because I was pushing it off. Basically, I wasn't really pushing her into it and working into that as well. So that's definitely something that I've learned, and that will be a key element for sure for me in the future, and knowing exactly what I'm looking for and at what stage the horse is at. And that's exactly the reason why I also have a coach to help me get through these things. So the goal is for us to both train the horse, and then so I follow her directives and I execute the motion and the movement that she asks me to. But at the end of the day, we're both training this horse and trying to push her into the next level. So time to change side, and as you will notice, you will see that Hazel is still in soft carriage, but it's a lot harder for her in that direction. You can just judge it by the way she kind of cranks her neck a little bit and curl it inwards, avoids a bit of the bit pressure and all of that, and the straight lines as well are almost impossible on that side yet, just because she is weaker on that side. Physically. So the diagonal leg, so the front left leg and the front right leg and the back left leg are that diagonal is just weaker overall. So when it comes to cantering, it takes her a lot more effort to just do it for me. She's gonna really push herself to the limit every single time to try to get into it. Once she's in the canter, it's not as bad. It's really to get into it and get out of it that are really hard for her yet at this stage. But I'm confident with some time we'll just definitely work on that weak side until it's no longer an issue. And I'm sure we're gonna get all these muscles to be built and get back together and in shape, so we can actually canter in both directions without a significant difference. So unfortunately for Hazel, because she is weak into that side, that's the side that we're going to work on a little bit more over the next couple of days and couple of lessons, because we really need to strengthen it. The left side or the left lead, it's perfect, it's light, it's like whatever we could expect from a perfect canter. It's just that the right side is really tough for us. So as you can see earlier here, I was pushing her into a straight line and we did good, but the problem is that she was so caught up into staying focused and staying collected that she wasn't paying attention of me asking her to turn. So we totally missed our turn. So I had to rework that and just see if I can get her to really turn at the right time. You can almost see the track right past that kind of blue jump there. That's exactly where we wanted to turn, but unfortunately we did not make it because Hazel wasn't paying attention. She was just so focused into like getting the rhythm, getting those legs one after the other up in the air and down, and she totally forgot about what I was asking. So we will try this again and try to get that corner to just be like ridden in the canter. We're just having such an issue with that, but it's not like the biggest issue. We just have to get her through this and pass it. So we just have to make sure that she pays extremely attention to the rider as well. So I know Hazel always wants to do good and always wants to perform and do her best, and she does, but sometimes she just needs to take the direction that I'm giving her a little bit more than just following her own instincts, her own rhythm, or her own mindset. So we're just gonna work a little hard at it. So I'm getting past that jump here, trying to turn once again, and it's not working once again. So I'm backing her up here quickly, trying to get her to the other side of the arena, and we're gonna be willing to try this again. I was thinking at that time that, you know what, maybe she just needs to start doing some kind of quick turns here and there at the trot, just so we can actually just break the pattern and get her to pay attention to every single directions that I'm giving her, just because I see that it's not being too successful. So we're trying here for a third time again, and I'm supposed to turn right here, and you should have felt how much effort I was putting into getting the horse to turn in time, but it wasn't happening, especially at the canter. So we decided to change the game up here and just kind of play a little bit with the jumps that are already laid out and use them a little bit as like pylons and just go and navigate around them a little bit to break her pattern. So if you guys remember well, we used to have some shoulder issues that I was working on in the past. They still are occurring once in a while, and I feel like that's something that she really needs to get a control of, especially at the canter, because even just the slightest shoulder motion is gonna like basically impede into your capacity of getting a natural, nice and smooth canter, just because the shoulder is just gonna be in the way so the whole time. So that's something that I'm really focusing on when I'm bending her here and there, and just really asking her to make that shoulder move and make sure that everything follows through, because even if she powers from the back, if your shoulders are just slanted in a 45, you just basically can't go anywhere that way. It just won't work. So after playing a little bit with those transition and playing around with the little jumps that are set up, we're ready to try it again and see if we can get a little bit better of a feel for the canter. So my coach suggested that I start the canter on the other side because that's where we had an issue turning. So if I just do it on the other side of the jumps, it's just going to help us kind of break the pattern in her brain as well, and just not make a big deal or a production about, you know, what we're actually asking her to do. And that's just what we wanted to accomplish here, is just to have that nice turn right there and tight to the jump here. So I was pretty happy that we actually made it. It was really fun. I remember that lesson being like super amazing, just because the horse felt totally different. We had way more collection power, and the weather was just splendid. It was beautiful. After, like, I think it rained that whole week, but that time I had my lesson, it was just the ground was perfect, the horse was there, so I remember having a lot of fun. Thank you guys for tagging along this lesson today. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment in the section down below. I can't wait to read your comments, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye for now.